Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for coming, and also to those of you who continue to come. A couple of really quick announcements. We do have a restroom here in the venue, which is next to the stage. You probably don't want to use that during the show. We are live streaming, so if you would like to turn off your phones, that would really help. There are two other restrooms, one behind the store, which is on the other side of the wall where the bar is, and there's also one upstairs. A couple of other things. Not everybody knows that we're a nonprofit. We are, so you know what that means. We're always begging for money. We have some flyers in the back for Krispy Kreme donuts. If you use that code, we get half of what you buy through October 31st. So who doesn't like donuts? One other thing, if you like this music and other music that you can't find anywhere else where you can actually hear it, if you want to sign up for our mailing list, it's out by the front door. You will never miss a show. Anyway, so I'm now going to turn this over to James Mason, who's going to introduce the band. And thank you to James for helping us get this band here and putting this all together. Thank you.
No switches. You EQ'd this to his voice, so. Anyway, yes, I'm James. I know most of you. There are so many musicians out here, and a couple of drummers too. And it's so good to see you. I would warn most of you to stay away from this corner. It's like a vortex. There's going to be a lot of trouble going on over here. I was contacted by David Calver, who is a guitarist from Portland, and he's been going to Robin's workshops in Amsterdam and studying online with him. And he found out, of course, they played at Django Fest Northwest on Whidbey Island. They're going to Mill Valley after this for this next weekend. And in between, they're in Portland. So David said, hey, can we get him a gig? So here we are. So we're at Artichoke. And I've heard Robin about 20 years ago at Django Fest for the first time, and was just completely blown away, and I have been ever since I've heard him. He's very lyrical and just one of the most musical musicians I've ever heard. And you want me to keep going? Yeah, and such a snappy dresser. But the big thing is his brother is so handsome. And Simon has been playing bass up there at Django Fest since it started, since the inception. Yes.
This is a handsome guy.
He's yeah. Anyway, not going to waste any more time. Here you go, the Robin Nolan Trio.
All right, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? Awesome, great. Thanks for coming out on a Tuesday night to see this dodgy band from Amsterdam. And let me introduce the guys to you. On the rhythm guitar tonight is my brother. It's Kevin Nolan. On the bass, also from the Netherlands, an old friend. We'll talk about that later, but great guy, great bass player. It's a pleasure to make music with him again. Please give a big round of applause for Simon Planting.
And the man who makes it all possible. We've known each other for almost 50 years now.
Amazing.
My big brother, Robin Nolan.
Thanks a lot. That first tune we played was called Duke and Jukey, written by Django Reinhardt, who's like one of our big heroes. We have others, which we'll talk about soon, but Django's a big one. And he wrote that tune inspired by Duke Ellington when he was in New York and he came back to Paris. Also, apparently, he had two little kittens called Duke and Jukey, which is kind of hard to imagine the big man with two little cute fuzzy kittens. But I like that kind of image of, you know, the big god of gypsy guitar with two little kittens called Duke and Jukey. So it's kind of interesting. We're going to carry on now with a tune made famous by Dorado Schmidt, and it's called Bossa Dorado. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thanks a lot. That was Bossa Dorado. So we said that Django was one of our big gods, you know, the guy that inspired us to play guitar, and every time we play the guitar we think of him, and he's inspired a countless legacy of guitarists all around the world. You know, we started in France, but now it's in the States, it's in Brazil, it's Australia. Everywhere you go there's a hot club of somewhere. And so an amazing thing you've done there, Django. But there's another guy who I love, who we all love really, and he was the guitarist from a band from Liverpool and called the Beatles, and his name is George. So George, this is Django, by the way, George is a big inspiration to me, and I love his music, and we're going to play some of his music this evening, and I have an album coming out at the next year in February. It's called For the Love of George, and it's an album of instrumental songs in this style, paying homage to George. So it's lots of his songs that I love, and we're going to play a couple of them this evening. There's an amazing story that goes with this, if you're interested, because it's kind of still amazing to me that one day we were playing in Amsterdam on the street in the rain, suffering, you know, tip jar empty. You know, we were having a go and everything. And then one day, we didn't know it, but one of George Harrison's gardeners, he's got this amazing place in England called Friar Park with these incredible grounds, and he's got a team of gardeners. And one of them happened to be in Amsterdam and saw us, and he thought, I think George might like this. So he bought a CD, and unbeknown to us, gave it to George. And thank God it had my number on the back, because we were sitting you know, in our modest little stinky apartment with rain in, and, you know, we had a phone bill, I remember we couldn't pay. And then the phone rang, and I had this surreal conversation with a Beatle, and that's what started this whole thing, because, you know, he's like, is Robin Nolan there, please? And I was like, yeah, who's that? And it's George, you know, so, George who? George, absolutely surreal, so George Harrison, and yeah, come on. So then I realized it was him, and then I got all nervous, and my voice was all like, oh, hi, George. Trying to be cool, you know. And anyway, he said that he'd got the CD from his gardener in Amsterdam, and he liked the music, and he's having a Christmas party, and he thought it'd be nice if we came over and played for him and his guests. So, yeah, we flew over to London, and it was a big deal for us back then. This is in the 90s. And we were picked up by a beautiful car with a driver with my name on it. This was all like incredible for me. Out west from Heathrow Airport to Henley-on-Thames, then you reach the gates of Friar Park, and oh my God, look at this place, it's amazing. And once you enter the world of George Harrison, everything changes forever, for the best really. It's an incredible world that he's created there. I'm talking about chocolate lakes. I mean, little people doing the work, you know, like, you know, he had a sense of humor. And then there's George, and he's the favorite Beatle, and he's just like you imagine. He's a nice guy, and he's like, hey, lads, come in and set up. So we set up in his main room, and then we started playing, and it was all surreal because, of course, all George's friends are famous, you know, and they were all there. All the ones that you can imagine, Paul, Ringo, Ravi, Eric, all the Monty Python guys, Tom Petty, all of his mates. And in fact, everyone was famous there except for us. So it was kind of like, everyone was like, who are these guys? Anyway, that was a moment that changed my life. And subsequently, we went back many times to play for George, and we were his favorite little band to come in and play for his guests. And we got to know him and play with him, and he loved this style. He loved Django. And then I played at his wake when he passed away, and I kept in touch with the family. And this album that I've just recorded, which we'll play some songs from later, I actually recorded it on his famous Beatles guitars. So the family allowed me to go to the house and play on his Ramirez, which he used on And I Love Her, his Gibson J160, which is the only guitar that's on every Beatles album. So I recorded on that, and it's Rickenbacker 12-string. Anyway, look out for the album. It's coming out next February on his birthday, released by Dark Horse and BMG, and it's called For the Love of George. Anyway, let's get the vibe going for George, and we're going to play two songs. The first is one called Marvar Blues. It's a Sunset Raga. So it's a little bit got the Indian vibe, which I love. And then we're going to go into a famous Beatles one, which George made special. So here we go. This is for George. There we go. So now it's time for a special guest, and we've got our good friend James Mason, who's going to play some fiddle. So, big round of applause.
This one, actually, there are a couple names for it. The one in English is Django's Castle. It's one of my favorite ballads. And we're going. Have you ever heard this?
Django's asshole.
Yeah. That's the other one. Yeah, guess who's going to play backup on that one?
Thank
James. Amazing. Beautiful. Manoir de Machev. So we're going to finish the set with a song which is a little bit different. And okay, we've got Django George. That's all cool. But there was a little period in the... Was anyone around here in the 80s? Remember the 80s? We had a lot of fun in the 80s, yeah. There was a band in England... yeah, too much fun in the 80s. There was a band in England called Soft Cell. Yep. And Mark Almond, and there was a song called Tainted Love, which was like #1 for like 100 weeks or something. And so we all used to hear. And so we do a little Gypsy Jazz version of it. And that's how we're going to finish the first set. So, yeah, you've been listening to Kevin Nolan on the rhythm guitar. Simon Plante on the bass. And we'll be back for a second set. And this is Tainted Love. Oh, this. Yeah, I'll go back from the mic. Oh, yeah. Great idea. Welcome back to the second set. How was the break? Great. So we're gonna finish. We're gonna start the second set. We're finished. We're gonna start the second set with the first tune I ever wrote, and I called it number 1. So this is number 1. Thanks a lot. Number one. So now we're going to play number two, of course. No. Number two. It's horrible. Sorry, a little bit jet lagged, bit tired, bit frazzled, all that stuff. But feeling really warm and cozy in this room. So thank you. We're going to play a song from George now. This is one of his big ones, and it was featured with the Beatles, and it's called "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." So I like to. This guitar is not my guitar. I came without a guitar, but lucky for me, there's a gentleman called Bob Hollow, who's a bit of a genius when it comes to guitars, probably other things, but definitely guitars. And he's built some beautiful, beautiful instruments, and I asked him if he could bring one, and he kindly brought this amazing instrument, which is an absolute beauty, Bob. Thanks to Bob Hollow. And this is for you, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. This is for Bob. Thanks to Bob Ollo for this beautiful guitar, and for George for the beautiful song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Of course, that one's featured on the For the Love of George album, and very excited about that coming in February on his birthday being released. We're going to play another tune I wrote, and this goes back to our days of playing on the street in Amsterdam. What do you want to...
I don't know what it is.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. No, nobody knows what it is. You ready? All right, so we used to play on the street, like I say, how we met George. And yeah, playing on the street is quite an experience, you know, and actually a fantastic experience and a great place to learn. And we did that in the city of Amsterdam, and there was all sorts of adversity and just all sorts of things going on. And us there in the corner of the square under the tree playing this music. And I wrote this song for the city of Amsterdam. Actually, the old Yiddish name for Amsterdam is Mokum, and so I called this one Mokum Swing. you. Simon, Kevin. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, give it up for Kevin Nolan on the rhythm guitar. Yeah. This music is all about the rhythm. It's all about the rhythm. And all about the bass as well. Come on. Simon on the bass. Yeah, great. So we're going to go back to George now. And we're going to play another one of his very famous songs. And this is one of the most beautiful love songs ever written, called Something. We do it in the key that Elvis did it in, G. Of course. G. a lot. All right. See?
Gas money.
Thanks so much. That was something. And that was for you, George. When I was at George's house, I met a guy called Ravi Shankar. Also, let me thank Mesut, who's been doing the wonderful job on sound and technical tonight. Thank you. Beautiful job. What a great team here at the Artichoke Music Theatre. It's a very, very nice place for a guitarist to be, I think. Natural environment. So thank you, Mesut. I wrote this tune because I met this guy at George's house called Ravi Shankar, who's an Indian sitar player. And I love that music. I love that whole vibe. And of course, in the history of music, you know, George brought Ravi in to get that sound with the Beatles, which was the first kind of world music, kind of fusion thing going on way back in the 60s. And so I wrote this song for Ravi and for George because you'll hear that it's got an Indian thing to it, but it's also got a bit of rock and roll. So this is a song called Ravi, and I've got a little bit of help from my friends here. Just to get the vibe. What's that? Oh, that's good, that's good. Here we go. Yeah, you'll like this. All right, take shoes off. Get on the floor. You don't have to. Thank you very much. That was Ravi for Ravi and George, featuring Seaman on the bass. Woo. Kevin on the guitar. And a couple of guys on the tampura. So, what's the next?
Yes.
Oh, is it? So actually, this is officially the last tune of the second set, and this is a very old song which we play in the Gypsy Jazz repertoire, and we'll give it the full Gypsy treatment. It's called Joseph, Joseph. So, thank you for being such a fantastic audience on a Tuesday night. I appreciate you coming out. It really feels warm and fuzzy, and thanks for coming. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you. Kev going now. Are you ready? Are we ready to push Kev to the limits? Warp speed. Are we ready? Man the oars. just go, though. You want to start normal? And then I say stop again? No. Okay.
Tell the story.
So, as you know, we're what?
About how poor we were.
Yeah, how poor we still are. As you know, we're brothers, and we come from a very poor family of musicians. Have you got your violin? we need the violin going. Come from a very poor family of musicians. We love music, and we, really enthusiastic about it, but we could only afford one guitar. So there's one guitar. We're all practicing on the same guitar. My dad, him, me. And so we just learned to, cooperate and harmonize and practice at the same time on the same guitar. So I could practice my little things up here, and he could practice the rhythm at the same time. So we're going to recreate that moment for you now, with the help of James Mason on some nice fiddle. And let's take a little bit of concentration now. And this is going to be in D minor.
Sorry, Bob.
The Robin Nolan Trio.